Hello, my name is Zerkteen, and welcome to another video. I'm doing something a little different today, and you can see me in a regular video, not a stream. So if you haven't seen me before, hello, this is what I look like. Um, and today I'd like to discuss the thought process and such behind the Shrine of Order. Which, if you don't know the Shrine of Order or the Deep Shrine of Order, whatever you want to call it, it's that it balances out all your stats. So what people usually do is that they get the stat really high, so they get the talents that are really good for that stat, and then they balance it after, so the stats they actually want to take are actually they actually get those stats. So let's say they bought 100 in intelligence to get those sweet intelligence stats, and they're like, I don't really want a high intelligence, and so they balance it out, and they're like, okay, now I've got a 30 in my light weapons, I got a 30 in my fortitude, and a 30 in my intelligence, and so they get these good talents, and then they reduce their stats, and then they could put their points to something they actually want to. And my gist of this is this: I feel like it's bad for the game. Now it was recently nerfed a little bit of a nerf. Where now it got the restless flaw, which I'm not too sure what it does. I don't think I've ever got the restless flaw, so please do tell me. I don't know what it does, but I want to explain why I think it's bad for the game. You can disagree with me all you want. I'm free for discussion in the comments, but I feel like it's bad for the game because it's ruining build diversity. And you may say, well, it's actually helping build diversity because you could do this, get these talents, and then you could get some other stuff. Well, I don't think so, because it's actually, with build diversity you need two things, right? You need a lot of options, which Deepwoken has a lot of options, and then you also need scarcity. And then scarcity being that you have lack of choosing these options, right? So I may have a lot of options for card draw and stuff and all that stuff, but the problem is that I can't put 327 points into everything I want, and that's what builds come in. That's why you have different builds, is because you have this scarcity, and that's why people have different builds and such. And what I think this is doing, the Shrine of Order is doing, is that I believe it's you put these stats in here, right? And then you're like, fuck it, I don't want these stats. And so I remove these stats, and so you're gonna get a lot of the same builds, or you're going for the good talents in these stats. You're taking those stats out, and then you're going for higher uh, point attributes and other things like high fortitude. People want high fortitude, high weapons if they're going weapons, or high attunement if they're going attunement, and that's fine. That's what you usually find in a build, is that it has a main weapon component, which is usually a light, medium, or heavy. You got your hero blade builds, which also free up stuff as well, but it's also got its drawbacks that you're not going to have as high as a damage. And so what I think is happening here is that you're going to get all these good talents, but you're also going to find that these builds are always, they're going to be the same, because you don't have that scarcity anymore. You don't have the scarcity of, I can't put these points anywhere, because you actually can. And then you could reassemble these points elsewhere, because you don't really want the base attribute. You want the talents. The talents are what is important in this game. The base attributes are good, right? Of course, high agility, the stat is good, right? Not only for ghosts, but mobility in general is really good for Deepwoken, for moving if you have to escape, or just catching up to somebody. Having high agility for climbing and stuff and running, all that's good. High fortitude, more HP, always good. You always want to see that, right? But these other attributes like intelligence, you don't really see a lot of intelligence builds, and there's a reason for that. It's because they mainly focus on mantras, and I feel as though this game is, slightly leaning towards the M1 and critical side instead of mantras. They're usually used for support and such. Although I have been wrong, I've been bodied by people that use a lot of mantras. But I do feel like in general a lot of damage does come from M1s, which is why I find that, you find these builds that have 75 attunement and then almost always 100 in the main damage stat, because that's what you're worried about. Um, and then the things like intelligence, you really don't really find a lot of, or charisma, you really don't really find a lot of, because the talents might be good, but the base stat there is not really something they want. And willpower is something that people want in potentially just a little bit to get some talents, but it's not really something you find them going for. But they do want these talents you get at these high stats, so you take them out and then they put them in something else. But so you're going to keep finding that people get these good talents for these stats and then putting them elsewhere. I have this music in the background because I think it's just better than to hear the low humming of other things. So you're just gonna be looking at my character select screen over here in this way. My bad. Um, and so I feel as though the Shrine of Order is bad for the game in terms of it is ruining build diversity, because in other cases you might find that you could put intelligence to high stats, but you're getting a trade-off, right? Because with this you're getting your cake and you're eating it too. For stats like for things like when you're at full ether, you get like 1.2 times damage for your attacks. You need at least like 40 or 50 intelligence to get that talent, that rare talent. But if you use Shrine of Order, you don't, right? You don't need this. You don't need that for preparation or whatever that thing is, the counter for intelligence. You don't need those talents. You can just trade them off for exoskeleton if you wanted to have high fortitude for some reason, then just trade it off for other things. You 100% can. And I feel like it's ruining build diversity by eliminating scarcity and people getting all these good talents. Now, I think this would be fine if it had a massive drawback, so it'd be a risk reward. Of course, you don't need to do this. Of course, you could have a perfectly fine game without doing this. But I feel as though with the popularity of this type of thing, is that people are going to try to do this. But I don't feel like this is the type that you want to do. I don't want to worry about getting 80 in my intelligence and willpower and then trading it out, going to Shrine of Order to fidget my build and having the min-max all worry about that. Of course, you don't have to worry about that, but I don't want to feel like I have to in general. So I feel like Shrine of Order could be reworked in a way, maybe. Or it could be a respecking of stats. Well, I don't think respecking stats would work because, you'd have all the talents associated with it. But, I just feel as though something else maybe could be done with it that allows for more build diversity in terms of, because intelligence is a good stat because of the talents. But people don't want the base stat of intelligence, so they just trade it off for other things. So you don't get the risk reward of, my build is trading out maybe like 40 intelligence. So I have 40 intelligence for 40 fortitude, so I have less HP, but I get these good talents. So that's the gist of what I'm talking about here. This is why I don't really like the whole Shrine of Order, people fidgeting with that. If you want to, that's completely fine. I'm not mad at you. This is a discussion I want to bring up. I may make more discussion videos in the future, whatever. But if you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Peace out.